we can't say enough. We lost a lot of people due to this situation, due to COVID and a lot of other things. But by this being, this is the last Monday of 2020. Of 2020. The last Monday. And we're trying, and we're doing our best to try to make heads or tails of what this year has been and what the direction that it's gone. And it's an absolute nightmare. But hopefully, going into 2021, we can move forward on a couple of things. So that being said, we're going to get into this big thing here. Now, over the last couple of days, I know everybody's really wondering about, this stimulus deal and what's going on with that and how it affects. Okay, let me let people in on a few things on this stimulus bill. And I don't want people to get too excited about it. Think about this for a minute, people. This stimulus bill is not what you think. This, as I said before, this bill, and that's exactly what it is. This bill is 5,593 pages long. I downloaded the bill, and you will. Let me put it this way: you would never complete it in the allotted time that you set for yourself. 5,000 pages. I don't care, and the biggest thing is that people say, oh, yes, you can, or if you do this, bullshit. You can't. Because I'm going to tell you why. If these SOBs in Washington didn't read it, and it's 5,593 pages, and they didn't read it, and they're the ones that's putting it together, and please explain to me how you, John Q. Public or Joan Public, how are you going to have time to read it? We don't have time. We're regular people. We don't have time to read that many pages. Okay. Now, I know everybody first, the other thing that people were yelling about and woo, yeah, about, that he signed the stimulus package. Hey, you dummies. And I'm going to say that. I'm going to really drive it home. You dummies. $600. If you really think about that, $600, what does that really pay for? Because some of us, our rents and mortgages are $600. For some of us who are paying minimum, some of us who are paying astronomical, what is $600 going to do? Except for, now for the slow people in the room, and they're thinking about, that's enough for me to, buy me a pair, buy me some, some fashion design clothes or fashion design handbags or whatever other shit. That's the problem. You're not even looking at the bigger picture. What if I told you in this, let me rephrase that. In the bill, I'm not going to give you hypothetics. I'm not going to give you what I heard. I'm going to tell you what is in the bill. What if in the bill, inside the bill, there are provisions to pay immigrants, illegal immigrants, $1,800 per person. $1,800 per person. Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't know that because you didn't read the bill. You didn't know that. You didn't read the bill. How about this? How about the fact that they are sending, let me get my off the top of my head and my notes. How about this? That they are sending countries, foreign countries, hundreds of millions of dollars. For example, Burma is getting they're sending Burma $35 million for the study, for gender study. In the bill, there is $2.5 million set aside to study. I kid you not. If you download the bill and take your time and go through it, you'll see it. There's $2.5 million set aside for the study of lizards walking on a treadmill. Right. There's a moment of pause there. A moment of pause. They're sending money to India. They're sending millions of dollars to India for foreign aid to teach them how to come to America and get jobs, get schooling. This is what they're. Oh, by the way, who also benefits from that? Kamala Harris, the person that you all went out there and voted for this jackrabbit, because her mother is Indian, from India. Special interest groups. They have put aside, and there were six to eight countries that they put this money aside, and the average tab was $23.4 million for these 7-8 countries. Average. Oh, okay. So what they did is that they made sure that everybody outside America got their money. And so what they did is that they scraped the bottom of the shit barrel, and they're going to give you the bottom of the barrel, which is the $600. Which is why Trump refused to sign it initially, because he said take out what they call, in political terms, what they call wasteful spending. They call pork wasteful spending. Wasteful spending. So he said, remove the pork and we can come back to the table. Not only that, but that's why he said a measly $600. Measly $600. Because he was outraged that they were only giving Americans $600, and they were giving illegal immigrants $1,800 per person. Per person. These are mofos that shouldn't even be here. So how do they qualify to even get money? How does that even happen? Wait, here's the other part that's unfair. People who owe child support, they don't get any money, but we're Americans. How is that fair that I don't get any money even though I owe child support, but you're going to give somebody else who's not even an American, who's not even supposed to be here, you're going to give them my money? How is that fair? This is what he's upset about. I would be too. I wouldn't have signed it. I would not have signed it. But the understanding is that he would only sign it if they remove the pork from the bill. Now, earlier today, because see, what's happening now is that Congress is in between sessions. They have 23. They actually have 15 days to try to make something happen. The likelihood, if they do approve it, and that's a mighty big air quote, if approve the 2000, if the Senate does, which I highly doubt that they will, because it's subject to die. They don't have enough. They can't push this through. In the event that they do, you're not going to see this money at least until January 15th. At least. Okay. The Secretary of Treasury, Steve Mnuchin, wanted to get this money out before. Now, the other argument is that they want to say that, well, hey, the president's team negotiated this deal. Well, here's the problem. Once again, it goes back to what I said at the beginning. Nobody read the complete bill except the clerks or whoever found all of this wastefulness in there were the ones that read it. And you have individuals that intern or clerk. They're the grunts. They're the ones that do all the dirty work and hunt everything down and find all the little loopholes and stuff like that. That's what they did. They brought it to the president and he torpedoed it as he should have, because there's too much waste in there. How does this help the American people? Also in this bill, the word missile is mentioned 47 times in this bill. Wait a minute now, but this bill is supposed to be called the what? The Corona Relief Bill. But what they did is that they attached the defense spending bill to the COVID bill, so they can kind of slide certain things through special interest groups. Okay, now once again, you're sending money to places like Israel, You're sending money to other countries that are buying weapons and military equipment from Russia. So does that make any sense that we're taking our hard-earned American money, we're giving it to countries like Israel to buy Russian-made equipment, Russian-made military equipment? Oh, that's right, because the United States is in bed with Israel. Yeah, we gotta mention. We have to definitely mention that a lot of these countries that are mentioned in the bill, as far as the spending is concerned, the United States is in bed with. And to kind of to kind of sidetrack a little bit and go into it, to speaking biblically, the United States. If you know anything, if you read your Bible, and you know anything about the United States, and you know anything in Revelations when it talks about the great whore. The great whore is the United States, because why? She sleeps with everybody. She sleeps with everything and everybody. There is no discrimination with her on who she's going to open her legs for. And that's the United States. That is the United States. The United States are in bed with so many individuals, they don't even know that the United States has no idea on who's banging them out now. No idea. But you're sure paying for it. And the American people are literally and I'm talking about just regular American people, hardworking people who have the 9-to-5 jobs, the first responders, people, the people who are working in our refineries, our coal industries. These are the ones that are being completely bent over the table and ass raped by politicians in government in Washington and throughout the other 50 states in America. This is what's happening. This is one of the reasons why we have to understand. If you have the time, download that bill and read it for yourself. If you are not outraged as I am when I start reading through it, it's something wrong with you. Because here's the thing. I downloaded it Wednesday of last week. Wednesday. I'm only up to, remember now, this is 5,593 pages. I'm only up to page 110. 110. So you kind of have to sift through it to find certain things, because once I got to the parts of the military spending, why is this attached to relief for people who are suffering? Why is a military bill tied to a relief bill? And before we go too far, if you have a comment, if you have a comment or something that you want to say about what we're talking about this relief bill and what's in it, give me a call here at the studio at 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953 here on Black Conservative Radio. Black Conservative Radio. This is one of the things where sometimes, and I'm going to piggyback off of the title for a moment. When you become a conservative, you start to look at things a little bit differently. You start to see things you start to see the bullshit for what it really is. And what we have to stop doing, or we have to learn, or we have to unlearn what we've learned. We have to really dig in. Hey, welcome to Black Conservative Radio. Who do I have on the phone, and where are you calling from?
This is Jay from Georgia.
Oh, all right, people. We already know. I don't need to say anymore. So, hey, let's roll, bro.
All right. So, I want to just kind of jump in real early and throw out some absolute statistics for the soft melons that's in the room, so they understand the level of just diabolical circus acts that's going on right here and right now. Just so everyone understands, as you were alluding to, in the first 200 pages of a 5,500-page bill, there is provisions, and I want to make sure that we understand this. There is provisions in the bill that say the following. They are giving to foreign countries. For the slow people in the room, foreign countries are people who do not stay here, have no interest of coming here, and never have any interest of rendering any sort of financial support in your direction. Foreign countries are set to receive in this bill. Are you still with me?
Go.
Still with me? Let's start. Let's start with Egypt. Egypt is set to receive $1.3 billion. That's with a B for the short people in the soft melon. $1.3 billion in foreign military aid from the United States. Let's keep going. Sudan is set to receive 700,000. Ukraine. I wonder why Ukraine's on the list. 453 million. Excuse me. If I said 700,000, I meant 700 million for Sudan. So let me start again. 1.3 billion for Egypt. 700 million. 700 million for Sudan. 453 million for Ukraine. 500 million for Israel, 130 million for Nepal, 135 million for Burma. Cambodia, really? Cambodia? I didn't know that they had enough in their banks to hold this. 85.5 million. Pakistan, I thought we were just at war with Pakistan. 25.5 million. Asia Republic, 1.4 billion in foreign military aid. But for you lovely Americans who suffer, die, and are trying to keep yourself out of homelessness and utter poverty, we can give you $600 to wipe your ass with.
Operative word, people. Operative word. Billions. They're sending billions of dollars to other countries for foreign aid, and they're giving you $600 to cop a squat with. I mean, that's not even worth toilet paper. Help me understand.
Now,
go ahead.
Let's also go a little further. Now, internally, just so you feel a little bit about being bent over the table and put in both holes, the Kennedy Center, which is not open, which is not doing events, and actually furloughed their entire staff, $26.4 million. The Smithsonian, again, another government-funded pet project that has not seen any patrons and has furloughed their staff, $1 billion. Now, let me help you guys understand. When they furlough their staff, they meant go home until we tell you when to come back. So what are you getting $1 billion for? Let's keep going. National Art Gallery. So somebody can go and tell you how to look at and interpret how somebody else blew their nose on a handkerchief. They get $154 million. The National Art and Humanities. Yet another, shall we say, point of ego masturbation. $167.5 million. The Woodrow Wilson Center. Here's an interesting fact about Woodrow Wilson.
Go ahead.
$14 million. Woodrow Wilson was one of the most diabolical, racist presidents, openly racist, from the great state of New York. He, just in case the soft melons and the soft boo-boos in the room want to call Trump a racist, I think you might need to redo and revisit your history. This was a man that opened up the White House and told the Grand Wizards of the KKK and the makers of the film Birth of a Nation and Gone with the Wind, come on and let's do a preview at the White House. I need to let everybody know that this is what we really should do with this Negro problem.
And not wait,
Look it up.
wait, right. And not only that, people. Not only
that. Opened the White House.
Wait.
And this was against the urgings of several civil rights or Negro rights coalitions that urged him not to do this.
Right. And not only that, but he openly made it clear that his words were niggers were not allowed to go to upper to receive a higher education at NYU or any New York State college. Words, no nigger would ever be in these colleges.
He was actually the president, if I'm not correct, I believe, of Harvard. I need to do some reading, but I believe he was the president of Harvard. Who later become a governor and the president of the United States. But we're going to endow to his institution $14 million of your money. But they can shoot your sons and your brothers and your daughters down in the street like dogs in the road. Something's wrong with you. There was a statue, I want to say in California, that was just vandalized.
Yes, that was the statue. Oh no, it was a bus.
Of Breonna Taylor.
A bus of Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor. That was vandalized. They
busted the head open of.
Yeah. Yes. Oh wait, while we're talking about this, and so not to steer too far away from the stimulus, because we have to understand where this is going. Just in New York today, at the Arlo Hotel, a few days ago, at the Arlo Hotel, once again, a la Emmett Till, a white woman accusing a black man of theft. Here's the story. A prominent musician and his son were staying at this high-class hotel when this white woman comes out and says, this black boy, her words, stole my iPhone, and she physically attacked him. And the father came to his son's rescue, and the hotel, being the hotels that they are, basically were complicit in not trying to get to the bottom of this, and then come to find out an Uber driver had returned. She had left her phone in the backseat of an Uber, and an Uber driver had returned it. Once again, we have to understand the distinction of who's hurting us and who's helping us. You all can say what you want about Trump or whatever the case may be, but this is the MFer who is trying to advocate for you. What difference if somebody's trying to help you? What difference does it freaking make what color he is? We still are operating in this slave thinking mentality. Even though 2,000 is not enough money to do too much, it's a far cry. When you start looking at what was in there and what they said, your voice, those asswipes in Washington are supposed to be your voice, are the ones who are actually ass raping you, and you are bent over the table and you are enjoying it without any Vaseline. Go ahead.
Let me say this. See, because I think we have become so brainwashed and whitewashed in our high uppity education and degrees that we have forgotten that at the end of the day, power, no one has ever gotten an exchange of power by the power of a vote. Let me say that again. The folks who wrote the Constitution and demanded their freedom and liberation from Great Britain did not do it from votes. Well, yes, they did. They all signed the Constitution. No, dumbass. The Constitution was the manifestation of the action that they had already committed to.
Right. They just put it up.
Quiet as it's kept, the Constitution was not ratified until 1789, nearly 18 months after it was drafted. I'm going to say this again. The Constitution was not ratified, which means that it was not a fully invested document until nearly 1789, which was almost 18 months after its original draft. So what does that mean? You think they was voting on whether or not they were going to continue to pay taxes and pay the cash that the great king and queen of England and Great Britain wanted them to do? The hell with that. They said we would sooner die than do that. And we'll take our chances.
Right. It was Patrick Henry who said, give me liberty or give me death. Hold your thought for a second, George. I just hold your thought. Hey, listen, y'all. The first half of the show was brought to you by the Chronicles of Rohn and Captain Hook's Fish and Chicken. If you're hungry, get your booty down there. Get you some delicious food. Chicken, shrimp, and their sides. At 85th and Cottage Grove, 103rd and Keene Drive, and 15922 South Kedzie in Markham. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to make this real quick. Until you understand how power works, you will always be someone's foot servant, handmaid. You know why you'll never have power? Because they have brainwashed you into thinking that your power is in the vote. The power is not in the vote. The power is in the economics that control the vote. The power is in the economics that control the court system. The power is in the economics that control your educational system.
Right.
To educate you on how to be smart like him.
And see, the thing about this bill is that they sugarcoat it, and this is exactly what they did. This is exactly what they did, and they served it to the American people. What they did, you all, is that they took a pile. They took a pile of shit, put syrup on it, and then they served it to you and told you these are pancakes. And the sad part about it is that I can't tell you how many people that I actually was going down the street looking, oh, he signed the bill. I said, you dumbass, you not even understand what's going on. So they're handing you this and they're telling you take a big mouthful because, hey, it don't taste right. No, first of all, hold your nose and and just swallow real deeply because it's just an aftertaste. This is the problem. This is the problem. And looking in this bill, like I said, people, you have in order to understand, like he said, the power, look inside this bill and look at the power that it holds, what people are doing. Once again, those jackasses in Washington have created a smokescreen, and here's the thing, and understand this, other people, and being in business like I am, when I ask people for something, I say, can you send me over some documents? And I ask for one particular thing, but they send me, if I ask for one sheet of paper, but they, well, we lost them, but hopefully, hey, if you're still out there, Georgia, give us a call back. But if I'm asking for documents and I ask for one sheet, I'm looking for one particular thing, but my contractor or said known individual they send me over 15 pages when I ask for one, that means that they're trying to hide something. That means that they don't want me to see something. They want me to, it's called a paper blizzard. And this is what they're doing with this bill. It's a paper blizzard. They're hiding other things in it, such as the defense spending bill. Why? And that's as George was talking about these things that even I said on why they're sending this money to these individuals. Because once again, the United States is in bid. This whore, the great harlot, is in bed with, she is doing everybody. And even to a point, she's doing 2 and 3 at a time. 2 and 3 at a time. To a point to where she is completely lost who she is bedding down with, and to a point, don't even care. Just as long as she gets something out of the deal. This is what they're doing to the American people. This is what is going on. You all think if you think this Sleepy Joe is going to help you, you got another thing coming, because a lot of that stuff that's in that bill are part of his pet projects. A lot of stuff that are in that bill are part of Kamala Harris's pet projects. There are countries that are British held, which means that Jamaica is under a British flag. Kamala Harris' father is Jamaican, which means he's under British flag. This is where all of this money. See, you have to look at the bigger picture, people. Read between the lines. It's almost like reading the Bible. You have to understand. First and foremost, you have to have a sharp mind to understand it. You have to read it. You have to read between the lines, understand its meaning, understand its purpose. And this is the same thing with this bill. There's more in here that they're putting in here for them for self-serving. You have to read between the lines. Read between the lines. Just a sidebar. Christmas Day. I'm not sure if all of you heard about this, and if you haven't heard about this, this is the problem. Once again, too busy doing other things and not paying attention to the right things, or as we say, chasing the wrong goddamn dog. Christmas, there was a bombing in Tennessee, in Nashville, Tennessee, in downtown Nashville, of all places. Now here's the part. Here's the part that's just going to really wow you out. Okay, this individual supposedly, and I say supposedly because I don't trust I don't trust too much of what certain media outlets feed. I don't trust it. I don't trust too much of what people say. I'd rather do the information and check the information myself. I'd rather do that, and then I can come up with a bet. I'm a smart enough individual where I can figure it out. Now, that being said, this individual supposedly did this, okay, and had did this. The person that they say did this, alleged to have done this, supposedly was this quiet individual and blah, 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 this and blah, 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 that. Okay, so when this person allegedly did this, the killing part said, well, we found human remains and we start tracking this down and we start tracking that down. Okay, that's your story. That's your story. That's your story. Fine. That's your story. You're going to stick to it. Okay, so the individual's name, his name is Anthony Quinn Warner, 63, is alleged to be held responsible for the bombing. Okay, now, what this bomb did is that it knocked out the communications to the police department, and air traffic. So you knocked out communication to transportation and first responders. That's interesting. Very interesting, because they knocked out, because this individual, they could not get any type of communication because the bomb went off next to where? AT&T facility. AT&T facility. Interesting. See what this is. This is once again, and you can call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but there are just some things that just don't add up. So this guy decides and the thing about it, he only killed himself. What was your point, or what were you trying to do? Because in the atmosphere that we're living in now, there was no Christmas parade, or there weren't a lot of people out or doing a shopping or whatever the case may be. So what was your point? And let's say, for the sake of argument, did this guy even exist? Because they don't have any surveillance video of this guy ever getting in a van, getting in this, and what it was some type of mobile home, some type of camper. They don't have any surveillance. They just have surveillance of the explosion, and supposedly human remains. Then they tracked it down and they went to his house and all of this kind of carrying on. Then it supposedly found other bomb making material. Here's the thing: in order to make a bomb of that size, you have to be buying a lot of ammonia nitrate, or commonly known for the slow ones, fertilizer. Now, here's the thing about that. If you're buying more than 4 bags of fertilizer, you get red flagged. You're getting red flagged. So that's not to say, that's not to say that this guy didn't, or he figured it out, or how to go around it. Not only that, but how is it that the FBI always say, well, this guy wasn't on our radar. Or they'll say, well, he was on our radar, but we didn't take him seriously. You're the FBI. That's your job, to take people seriously. That's your job, to overreact. That's what you're paid to do. Paid to do. So let's say, for the sake of argument, this guy, he bought anywhere between 20 to 25 bags, but he can buy them all over the state and then compile them, as long as he's buying them under the limit. That's like to where you monitor when you're buying cough syrup with codeine. Now you need a prescription. Now it's under, you can only buy so much. You can no longer buy certain things over the counter as you once did, because a couple of these crackhead junkie trailer trash, they were making meth out of all of this stuff. Like some of these other knuckleheads, they're buying cough syrup and pouring it into, and it's the craziest thing. They're pouring cough syrup into Sprite soda pop, and they call it lean, and they get effed up. I just don't understand that thinking. You really have a lot of time on your hand. A lot of time. It just ceases to nothing amazes me, nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And sometimes, I'll catch a little flack because they say, doesn't anything faze you? It's not about does it faze me. It just doesn't surprise me anymore, because what it is that I've come to the realization, people are going to do what they're going to do. Things are going to happen. People are going to do what they're going to do. Point blank, period. That's just the truth of it. That's just the truth and the matrix of life. And once we understand the matrix on what goes into certain things, we'll get a better understanding. You'll not be subjected to a lot of rhetoric and nonsense that actually doesn't add up to a hill of beans. Zip, zero, nada. So that's one of the other big things that is going on right now. But we have to really take this for what it is. And people say, well, why would he do that? Well, I mean, why, the why is not the question. It's no longer a question anymore. He did it because that's what he wanted to. End of story. The killing part is that he only killed him. He only killed himself, or allegedly killed himself. That's the narrative that they're spinning right now. That's the narrative. But we have to look at this, for instance. What's to say? And I know, right now there's roughly about 23 days before the inauguration of Joe Biden and his side chick. So this could very well have been what we call a test run, just to see what they can do. And this could be a secret op, a couple of militia individuals who are running around the countryside, just doing something, just creating, or not only that, but creating enough havoc. And this very well could be a distraction for something even bigger. We will agree that no one saw this maelstrom, and I'm talking about the entire year, starting from February 28th all the way to December 28th now. None of us could have ever foreseen what has happened, what is going on, the this pandemic, this civil unrest, this the racial injustice. No one could have ever foresaw the level. Let me rephrase that. We knew it exists, but no one could ever foresee the level that it would reach, and how it reached. No one ever saw that how this election just completely was an absolute shit show at the circus. No one could have ever foreseen this, ever. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you, I don't care if you live to be 100. You could have never foreseen this, ever. But what I say, only in my humble opinion, this is nothing new for America. This is nothing new for the world. This is just history. This is just history repeating itself. That's all this is. It's just repeating itself. It's new to us because we weren't here 100 years ago. That's why it's new to us. I mean, if you do your history, you're like every 10 years is something. Then every 100 years is something. Whether it be some form of a virus or a bacteria, something political, something racial. It's been here before, and it's just repeating itself. That's all. That's really what it's doing. That's what's happening. And it's going to continue. It is going to continue. So right now, earlier, like I said earlier today, the House passed a measure, and they passed overwhelmingly to approve the $2,000 for Americans. Okay, that's what they're doing right now. But it's going to be very difficult to get it through the Senate. It's going to be very, very difficult. Mark my words. It's going to be very difficult. But I hope I put enough on your mind to understand why. Now, I know the first thing people saying, well, if it's difficult, and why would because the Democrats are always the one that want to spend with no restraint, always want to spend with it's like a kid with a loaded gun. Just a kid with a loaded gun, and this is what they want to do. But the Republicans, they want to curtail spending because at some point or another, we have to pay for this. This has to be paid for. Somebody has to pay for it. At the end of the day, we're going to look up. Here's the thing. We're barely going to, we're our children, meaning children, the generation, my children, your children. Okay. They're barely going to have enough money for Social Security. And when I say barely, just barely. Now, their children are not going to have any money. Why? Because of all the crazy spending that we're doing right now. We're doing it right now. Yeah, I'm going to have some money in Social Security because understand something. All I'm doing, hey, look, it's when I reach 62.5, hey, I'm putting in my papers. Give me my money, whatever it is. I'm taking it and run it. That's just that simple. But at the end of the day, my children they're going to really have an uphill battle. Our children, if we have children right now, they're going to fight an uphill battle because of all of this crazy spending that's going on. And when we're dealing with this stimulus, and the fact of the matter is, as we said earlier, the money that is being shipped out of this country. Let's go back even further. Obama, that asswipe, he sent Iran $400 billion. Sent them $400 billion that we're still trying to get back. This is the crazy part about Democrats. They want to send money elsewhere instead of to the American people. At the end of the day, Donald Trump did the best that he could with what he had and tried to make a difference in spending and making first the biggest thing what he wanted to do was make Washington legislators, hold them accountable. When he took office on day one, I'll tell you an interesting story. When this guy took office on day one, he canceled all all presidential parties and balls. Cancel them. No, that's taxpayer money that I'm not going to spend. We're not going to do this. We're going to go to work that very day. He did his little walk down Pennsylvania Avenue from the Capitol to the White House and went straight to work. Not only that, but Boeing, the aircraft magnate, sent him over a bill for a new Air Force One aircraft. Not only that, but other aircrafts. Trump looked at that and he saw the price tag on that and he canceled it. In fact, they wanted to build 4 new Air Force One aircrafts at an astronomical cost to the taxpayer. He said, no, we're not doing it. He canceled the deal. He canceled it. If this is not a person who is about business, I don't know what is. But understand something. We have a lot of people. Or say, no, let me rephrase that. You can't have, as I say often, you can't have conversations with broke people. You cannot have conversations with broke people. When we're talking about this bill, I want you to think about if you have a business. Those people who are receiving those paycheck protection plan deals. I want you to think about if you have a car wash, if you have a restaurant, if you have a daycare, a day or a child care center, daycare center. If you're doing child care in your home, if you have a building that you're doing child care in, if you are a private contractor and you have 8 men, if you have a car service, I want you to think about this for a minute. $600 to over 8 uphold going to you, and $1,800 going to illegal immigrants, and then X amount of billions of dollars are going to 9, 8, and 7, and 8, 7 to 8. You think about that money that could be going, that you could have. While we're talking about that, I want you to think about the money for unemployment. Think about that. You see, when you read this bill, when you think about what we just said about the billions of dollars that is going to foreign aid, why isn't that money going to Americans? Why isn't that money going back into states for infrastructure and into government and for the government to run, for local governments and to run their state? Who signed off on this shit? Because nobody read the bill. Nobody, whoever was negotiating this, those who put it together knew what was in there, but they knew that nobody was going to read it, as they often do. Nobody reads it. Nobody reads it. That money that should be going to you, and when you're talking about the $900 billion, close to $1 trillion. When you think about that, you're saying to yourself, okay, they've got you hoodwinked thinking that money is for you. No, it's not. No, it's not. Only $600 is for you. Think of it, even for the slow ones and the dim bulbs. I want you to think about this. You do a job, or and even to a point where you're a contractor. Say I'm a contractor, and I bid out the job for $5,000, and not only that, $5,000 plus there's a little incentive on the other end to where there's an additional $2,000, so it winds up being $7,000 job. I got 3 men, 4 men, and then and at the end of the day, once the job is done and I collect the money, I give my men $500 a piece on a $7,000 job. How does that help me understand? How is that right? Not fair, because nobody ever said life was fair. Nobody ever said business was fair. How is that right? Because it doesn't matter, right or wrong. How is that right? You're going to reach that. You got $900 billion in a barrel. And then you're going to scrape the bottom of the barrel and give me this nasty, sticky shit that's on the bottom and expect me to take that and like it. Not only that, but you're giving the illegal immigrants $1,800 plus you take plus other money that's going to these people. Think about that. When you are hooping and hollering and checking your bank account looking for that $600, I want that to stick in your mind to think about those billions that went across seas. Think about the fact that when you apply for the PPP loan, you didn't qualify or you didn't get it. Think about that when you have these businesses. Think about that for a minute. Think about that you are the individual that is on the verge of losing their home. Think about that. Think about if you are a landlord or a property owner, that you're about to not only lose your home, but you're about to lose your property. Because these assholes decide that I'm going to send money elsewhere and not keep it at home. This is what Trump is talking about. Why is that money? Now, people are saying, well, he signed a bill anyway because there were other things in it. Meaning that if he didn't sign the bill, the government shuts down at midnight tonight, which means that nobody gets anything. And then what happens is that the bill expires, and then they got to start all over again. Now, me personally, this is exactly what I'd have told him. I say, no, until you take all that unnecessary spending out. Don't bring me nothing that first of all, don't bring me nothing that I gotta sift through for 2 weeks. Very simply put, I wouldn't have signed it. I would have just allowed the government to fall on its own sword. Everything stops. The whole point of him doing this is this is what we need right now. We have to start making our elected officials, our government, we have to start holding our government accountable. This was one of the things to where he talked about early in his term about term limits. You got people who've been in Congress, let alone politics, for 30, 40 years. Joe Biden has been in politics for 48 years and hasn't done a goddamn thing. Oh, wait a minute, take that back. He put thousands upon thousands of niggas in jail though. We can't. Well, I'm not going to take that. I mean, I'm not going to say he didn't do anything. He put a bunch of niggas in jail. Same thing with his side chick. She put a bunch of niggas in jail. Point blank, period. Because make no mistake, she's not black. And I went and just that saying, she's even admitted that. She's even said that. Here's the thing. You want to sit there and say that this helps all the black and brown girls of the world. But you yourself said that you don't identify as black. That's contradictive. Very simply put. Very, very simply put. Now, you can like I say, it's been a hard year, and this is for everyone. But at the end of the day, we still got to move forward. We still got to move forward. We got to, and not only that, but not only moving forward, but we have to. We got to count our blessings too. And I don't care what it is, what type of blessing it is. Understand something. A blessing is a blessing. Period. Because you better make no mistake. The devil ain't gonna give you shit, but a hard way. He ain't gonna give you but a hard way to go. And he's definitely not handing out tickets. He's definitely not. But whatever blessing that comes my way, I'm gonna take it and run with it. I'm not complaining. But with the exception of that $600, yeah, I'm gonna complain knowing that others are getting a lot more fatter and getting a little. If you all want to take that $600, be my guest. But I guarantee you, none of you all, when you do get it, how many of y'all gonna send it back? How many of y'all are not gonna who's not gonna cash that check? at the end of the day, what you gonna do? But anywho, I see the lights flashing in the distance and the helicopters are landing, and what that means that is all the time that we have here on iHeart Intellectual Radio, Black Conservative Radio, our new name going into 2021. And I hope you all enjoy. This is the last show for. So we're clear. We will be back in January. This is the last show for the year of 2020. The last Monday, the last show. But I hope you all got something out of it. Hopefully, and then going into next year, the shows are going to continue to be powerful. They're going to continue to be insightful. Continue, okay? Peace and not my monkey. Oh, wait, one more thing. And to my sponsors, Chronicles of Rohn and Captain Hooks. 85th and College Grove, 103rd and King Drive, and 159th and Kedzie in Markham. To my brothers, to my kids, to everybody, to my engineer who makes it possible for me to do what I do. So, with that being said, not my monkey, not my circus. See you all in 2021.